My father's words still echo in my mind. "Walter, you're throwing away your future." I was 19 years old, and I had just dropped out of college. I thought I knew it all, but his words cut deep. He said it with a mixture of sadness and anger, and I could see the disappointment in his eyes. I'm Walter, 78 years old, and I've lived a long life with my share of mistakes and regrets. But this story is about one lesson I learned the hard way, and it's something I wish I had understood much sooner. I grew up in a small town in Ohio in the 1960s. My father was a hard-working man who owned a small grocery store. I was his only son, and he had big expectations for me. He wanted me to take over the store one day, but I had other plans. I wanted to see the world, to experience new things, and to make a name for myself. My best friend, Jimmy, and I would often talk about leaving town and making our fortunes in the city. But my father was stubborn, and he wouldn't listen to my dreams. He wanted me to stay in town, to get married, and to take over the store. We would argue about it for hours, and I could see the tension between us growing. My mother would try to mediate, but it was no use. I was determined to follow my own path, no matter what. I remember the day I dropped out of college like it was yesterday. I had been struggling in school, and I just didn't see the point of it all. I thought I could make it on my own without a degree. My father was devastated when I told him the news. He said I was making a huge mistake, that I would regret it for the rest of my life. But I didn't listen. I was too proud, too stubborn. But here is what I never told anyone. My father's words that day, they haunted me for years. I would lie awake at night, thinking about what he said, wondering if I had made a mistake. I tried to push the thoughts away, to focus on my own path, but they lingered. I started to doubt myself, to wonder if I was good enough. I ended up working odd jobs, trying to make ends meet. I would send my parents money whenever I could, but it was never enough. My father would write me letters, telling me to come home, to take over the store. But I was too proud, too ashamed. I didn't want to admit that I had failed. Years went by, and I struggled to find my place in the world. I made mistakes, lots of mistakes. I hurt people, I let myself down. But through it all, my father's words stayed with me. They were a constant reminder of my failure, of my regret. But then something changed. I was in my 50s, and my father was getting older. He was sick, and I knew I had to go see him. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. But when I saw him, lying in that hospital bed, I knew I had to make things right. I had to apologize, to tell him I was sorry. And that's when it hit me, the realization that changed everything. My father wasn't trying to control me, he was trying to protect me. He knew the world was a tough place, and he wanted to shield me from it. He wanted me to have a safe, secure life, and he thought the store was the way to provide that. I realized that I had been so focused on my own desires, my own dreams, that I had neglected the people who cared about me most. I had neglected my father, and my mother, and my friends. I had been so selfish, so caught up in my own world. Now I understand what my father was trying to tell me all those years ago. He was trying to tell me that life is about more than just following your dreams. It's about family, and friends, and community. It's about being there for the people who need you. My father's words, they still echo in my mind, but now they're a reminder of the lesson I learned. I'm grateful for that lesson, and I hope you can learn from my mistakes. And that's the truth. My father was right. I was throwing away my future, but it's never too late to make things right. But here is what I never told anyone, the thing that still brings tears to my eyes. My father forgave me. He forgave me for everything. He told me he loved me, and that he was proud of me, no matter what. And in that moment, I knew I had finally understood what he was trying to tell me all those years ago. So if you're still watching, thank you for listening to my story. I hope you can learn from my mistakes, and I hope you'll subscribe to my channel for more stories like this one. As I look back on that moment, I realize that it was a turning point for me, a moment of clarity that changed the way I thought about my relationship with my father. It wasn't just about the arguments we had or the words we never said. It was about the love that was always there, beneath the surface. And I think that's something we can all learn from, no matter what our own family dynamics may be like. I remember after that moment, I started to see my father in a different light. I saw the sacrifices he had made for me, the late nights and early mornings, the times he had put my needs before his own. And I realized that I had been so focused on my own pain and my own feelings that I had never stopped to consider his. I had never stopped to think about what he might be going through, what he might be struggling with. And so, I made a conscious effort to start listening to him, to start hearing what he was trying to say. And it wasn't always easy, let me tell you. There were still times when we disagreed, still times when we argued. But I made a promise to myself to try to understand him, to try to see things from his perspective. And slowly but surely, our relationship started to change. We started to talk more, to share more, to laugh together again. And I saw the weight lifting off his shoulders. I saw the tension in his body start to ease. And I knew that I had made a difference, that I had helped to heal a wound that had been festering for years. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything is perfect, that our relationship is now without its challenges. But what I will say is that it's better, it's stronger, it's more honest. And I think that's all any of us can really ask for, isn't it? To have relationships that are real, that are authentic, that are built on mutual respect and understanding. And I think that's what I hope you'll take away from my story. That's what I hope you'll learn from my mistakes. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being willing to listen, to learn, to grow. It's about being willing to see things from another person's perspective, to try to understand where they're coming from. Because when we do that, when we make that effort, I truly believe that we can heal even the deepest of wounds. We can mend even the most broken of relationships. And we can find a sense of peace, a sense of closure that we never thought possible. So thank you again for listening to my story, and I hope it has touched your heart in some way. As I sit here reflecting on my journey, I'm reminded of the countless moments that could have gone differently. The choices I made, the words I spoke, the silences I kept, all of these have led me to where I am today. And while it's easy to get caught up in the what-ifs and the maybes, I've come to realize that every step, every stumble, and every triumph has been a crucial part of my path towards healing. I think about the people who have supported me along the way, the friends who listened without judgment, the family members who offered unwavering love, and the strangers who became unlikely allies. Each of them has played a role in helping me find my voice and encouraging me to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead seemed uncertain. And then there are the moments of profound insight, the epiphanies that have shifted my perspective and allowed me to see things in a new light. The realization that I am not alone, that my story is not unique, but rather a thread in the intricate tapestry of human experience. The understanding that our wounds, though they may be deep and painful, are also a testament to our capacity for love, for connection, and for resilience. As I look back on the journey that has brought me to this place, I'm struck by the beauty of imperfection, the beauty of scars that still linger but no longer define me, the beauty of relationships that have been fractured but not irreparably broken, the beauty of a heart that has been shattered but has learned to love again. It's a strange and wondrous thing, this human experience of ours. We are capable of inflicting great harm, and yet we are also capable of profound kindness. We are capable of holding on to grudges, and yet we are also capable of forgiveness. We are capable of getting lost in the darkness, and yet we are also capable of finding our way back to the light. As I share my story with you, I'm reminded that I am not just speaking to you, I'm also speaking to myself. I'm reminding myself that I am strong, that I am capable, and that I am deserving of love and compassion. And I hope that, in some small way, my story might do the same for you. That it might remind you of your own strength, your own resilience, and your own capacity for love and forgiveness. In the end, it's not about the wounds that we carry or the scars that we bear. It's about the way we choose to live with them, the way we choose to integrate them into our story, and the way we choose to use them as a catalyst for growth, for transformation, and for healing. And it's about the way we choose to treat ourselves and each other with kindness, with empathy, and with compassion.